6.3, we started doing solving systems of equations by elimination, right? And we started off pretty easy where you just add the two equations together. Because when I add the two equations together, one of the variables eliminate, hence the name. And then in number one, negative 10x plus positive 10x eliminates to 0. You can put a 0 there if you want. Actually, if I add the y's together, they also eliminate to 0. Since there's nothing to put down, I have to put down a 0 here. Okay? Equals negative 14 plus 10 gives me negative 4. Now, this is, again, remember, we can get one of three cases, right? Either exactly one solution, no solutions, or infinitely many solutions. If I have exactly one solution, I have a variable equals a number, then I got to go back and find out the other variable. But this, I don't get a variable in my answer. I get 0 equals negative 4. You have to ask yourself, is this a true statement or is this not true? In this case, it's not true. So what's going to be my answer here? No solution. Okay, we have ourselves some parallel lines. Okay, number 3. Add the two equations together. (6x plus negative 3x gives me 3x. Positive 2y plus negative 2y is my 0. They eliminate. 6 plus 6 is 12. Divide both sides by coefficient 3. And x equals 4. Now I got to pick one and solve for y. I'm going to pick the top one. 6x plus 2y equals 6. I know my x is 4, so I'm going to substitute in 4 for x. Plus 2y equals 6. So I get 24 plus 2y equals 6. Subtract 24 from both sides. I get 2y equals negative 18 divided by 2, and y equals negative 9. Please put your final answer in as a point for negative 9. This does a couple of things. First of all, they intersect at a point, so it should be an ordered pair. Secondly, this prevents you from skipping finding y. A lot of you forgot to find the second coordinate on the first quiz. Okay. Let's keep going. The second part of 6.3, we couldn't just add them because when we had equations that if you just added them, none of the variables would eliminate. So you had to pick one of them and multiply it by negative 1 first. It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to pick the top one, multiply it by negative 1, and you have to distribute that negative 1 to every term. Okay? So what that does is it switches the sign. Instead of negative x, I get a positive x. Instead of negative 10y, I get a positive 10y. Instead of negative 19, I got a positive 19. Now, if you were careful, you could actually add them just like this. You didn't, if you line them up right and you can read it, you don't have to rewrite that second equation. Okay? If you got sloppy, well, just rewrite the second equation. Add them together. Negative x plus x, these get eliminated. 1y plus 10y is 11y. Negative 8 plus 19 is 11. Divide both sides by 11. And y equals 1. Pick an equation. I'm going to pick the bottom one. Negative x plus y equals negative 8. Be careful. I solve for y, so I'm going to put in 1 for my y. Negative x plus 1 equals negative 8. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. I get negative x equals negative 9. Multiply, divide by negative 1. So x equals 9. Please put it in as a point. X is 9, y is 1. So that's pretty easy. That was the second part of 6.3. Multiply by negative 1 first. 6.4 got a little harder. 6.4, you had to multiply one of the equations by a number in order for them to, one of the variables to eliminate. Now, looking at 13, kind of, look at the coefficients here, and I noticed that 5 and 15, well, 5 is a factor of 15. So I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by 3, because 3 times 5 is 15. Now, I want opposite signs. So instead of multiplying, wait, hang on. Caleb's not here. Julian's here. Christian's not here. And Burgess is in ISS. Julian, you're supposed to be there at 9:30. Okay, I'm not just going to multiply by 3. Remember, I'm adding them, so I want one of them to eliminate. So I'm going to multiply by negative 3. Okay? Negative 3 times 5x, I get negative 15x. Negative 3 times negative 8y is positive 24y. Negative 3 times negative 21 is a positive 63. Now this one I'm not going to have a choice. I'm going to have to rewrite the top one. I have 15x minus 3y equals negative 21. Add them together. My x's eliminate. Okay. 24 plus negative 3y is going to be a positive 21y. 63 minus 21, 42. Divide both sides by coefficient 21, and y is going to equal 2. I have y, I got to figure out what x is, so go back and pick an equation. It doesn't matter. Pick the top one, I guess. 15x minus 3. I have my y solved for, so I'm going to put parentheses there. Equals negative 21. My y is 2. So I have 15x minus 6 equals negative 21. Add 6 to both sides. I get 15x equals negative 15. Divide by the coefficient. 15. So x is going to equal negative 1. So my answer here, my ordered pair is negative 1 for x, 2 for y. Let's do number 17. I'm going to pick one of the equations, multiply it by a number. Since 6 is a factor of 12, I'm going to multiply the bottom one by, and I want opposite signs, so I'm going to have to change the sign. So I'm going to multiply it by negative 2. Okay, negative 2 times negative 6x, positive 12x, negative 2 times negative 6y, positive 12y, negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. Rewrite the top equations underneath it. Negative 12x minus 7y equals 2. Add them together. See, these eliminate to 0. 12y minus 7y is 5y. Negative 12 plus 2 is negative 10. Divide by 5. And I get y equals negative 2. Pick one. Pick the top. Negative 12. X plus 7. I figured out what y was. Equals 2. Y is negative 2. So I get negative 12x plus 7 times negative 2 is negative 14 equal 2. So I'm going to add 14. I get negative 12x equals 16. Divide by negative 12. I'm going to get a fraction here. See. x is going to equal negative 16/12. You put that in your calculator, hit math, enter, enter, you're going to get 4/3, right? Negative 4/3. So my answer here, x is negative 4/3, and y is negative 2. Yeah, I screwed something up here. I got a feeling. Yep, that's where it is. Thanks for telling me after I did the whole problem. So that should be positive 14. Subtract 14, so this should be negative 12. You did that on purpose, didn't you? You waited till all the way to the end. Just to see Mr. D screw it up. Negative 12 over 12 is 1. Thank you. And then the second part of 6.4 was the hardest. Okay, because you had to choose both equations and multiply by numbers. Yes, ma'am. Sure. Now, this was hard because it was just really hard to figure out what numbers to multiply by. If you have a problem really deciding and you're like running out of time or something, just pick one of the coefficients. Like I got a 2 and a negative 7 here, and just multiply them. Like the top equation here, multiply this 2x by negative 7. Let's just multiply it by 7 because that'll change the sign. Okay, we want one positive, one negative. So, and then we're going to multiply the bottom one by, let's see, we multiplied this by 7, so we're going to multiply this one by 2. Sometimes it's really confusing to try to figure out what numbers to multiply. Just multiply them by the coefficients. So distribute the 7 to each term and distribute the 2 to each term. So the first equation, we have 7 times 2x, 14x. 7 times negative 2y, negative 14y. 7 times negative 18, let's see, 56, 126. 2 times negative 7x, negative 14x. See how they're going to eliminate? 2 times negative 5y, negative 10y. 2 times 27 is 54. Add those together. Let's see, negative 14y minus 10y is negative 24y. Negative 126 plus 54 is a negative, let's see, 272. Divide both sides by negative 24. And y is going to equal 3. Go back and pick one of the equations. I'm going to pick the top one. See, we figured out what y was. So 2x minus 2 times y equals negative 18. Y is 3. 2x minus 6 equals negative 18. Add 6 to both sides. Two x equals negative 12. Divide by 2. So x is going to equal negative 6. So my point here is x is negative 6, y is 3. And I'm going to do 23. It's going to be my last one. Hey, I really can't come up with a good number to multiply. So I'm going to multiply I'm going to try to get rid of the y's. So I'm going to multiply the top one by 8, but they're the same sign. So I'm going to multiply by negative 8. The bottom one, I'm going to multiply by 3. Coefficient of 1. All right, top equation. Negative 8 times 7x. Negative 56x. Negative 8 times 3y. Negative 24y. Negative 8 times negative 24. See, 32, 3, 16, 192. 3 times 5x, 15x. 3 times 8y, positive 24y. 3 times negative 23 is negative 69. Add those together. Negative 56x plus 15 is going to be negative 41x. These eliminate. See, 3, 18, 20, 123. Divide both sides by negative 41. And x is going to equal the 3, negative 3. Pick one. I'm going to pick the bottom just to be different. Figured x, so my x here is going to be negative 3. 5 times negative 3, negative 15, plus 8y equals negative 23. Add 15. I get 8y negative 8. Divide by 8. So y equals negative 1. My answer, my x is negative 3, y is negative 1.